The period of adolescence is one of the most dynamic developmental periods in our lifetime. Rivaled only by infancy in terms of the rapid pace of development, adolescents must navigate a series of intense physical and mental changes. Understanding the experiences of adolescence and what to expect as youth move through this period can help parents, teachers, and service providers work effectively with youth. What can you expect from an adolescent? Join us as we talk with youth from across South Dakota. As youth enter middle adolescence, there continues to be differences in height and weight between girls and boys. Girls will typically reach their adult height by age 16, however, boys will continue to grow until age 18 or 19. Because of the rapid growth taking place, teenagers have an increased appetite and need to consume more calories throughout the day. Middle adolescents are often considered to be at the epitome of health. However, teens can be at risk for developing poor eating habits like eating high-fat diets or skipping meals because they don't feel the effects of a poor diet immediately. Given their general level of good health, in addition to an increased calorie intake, adolescents also need more sleep, between 8 to 10 hours per night. Their internal clock may also change compared to childhood, with most adolescents naturally becoming tired between 1 to 2 a.m. and waking up between 9 to 10 a.m. At times, it can be frustrating when adolescents want to sleep in late or seem to be napping often. However, their bodies actually need that extra sleep to keep up with their rapid growth. How would you describe your overall health and physical activity?
It's just, you can get wore down, and I mean, actually, I'll get sick once in a while. I feel like pretty strong there, but I mean, my mom tells me that it's just, if you just kind of keep eating right and just your whole diet, that'll help a lot. So I mean, it's just getting sleep is a big thing.
I usually don't go to bed the same day that I wake up. I usually go to bed the next day, meaning 1 a.m., sometimes 2. It just depends. Because after school, if you have a sport, that takes away almost 3 hours of the day for you to get home and get showered after your sport. And if you have homework 7 hours a day, you could have an opportunity for 7 hours of homework almost. And sometimes it feels like that, and sometimes you just can't handle it. You have to do it in the morning before school. So time management, you need to know what you can handle on your plate.
I've done it quite a bit where I take on too much, and then you just get overloaded sometimes. I mean, preparing for this weekend, I had to be down here a day early because I was a state officer, so I mean, I had to have all my assignments handed in earlier. And I mean, just that Friday night, I was just trying to do a math assignment, and I just got my mind was stressed out, and I just had to sit down for about 10 minutes and let my mind clear, because it's just, you can get just so overloaded and stressed because you're just going all the time, and your mind just gets wore out. That's the biggest thing. Your body might be able to keep up, but your mind needs time to rest too.
Middle adolescents' thinking ability continues to improve. They're now less focused on the present and are better able to think about the future and set goals. Adolescents' thinking continues to become more sophisticated and organized, allowing them to think about future possibilities that they have not previously experienced. Adolescents are now better able to take the perspective of another, leading them to be less egocentric or self-centered. What are your plans for the future?
Something that is probably set in stone for me is going to college. And I know I want to get a degree, and I know I want to do engineering, so it's been kind of narrowed down to a certain college, School of Mines in Rapid, and I've always had an interest in doing things on CAD, drawing things, designing, building, so I think a civil engineering degree is what I kind of narrowed down to, but I always keep it open. I don't know if that's exactly what I want, but it's nice to have a path to know where I need to go.
I don't know, I think that's a phrase that's scary for every high schooler the rest of your life. Like,
Yeah.
when you're thinking about careers, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And then you just get intimidated, you're like, let's not think about it, that's a long time
That's
away.
why.
But really, it's not. It's going to hit us all at some point, and we're going to be like, wow, I should have figured this out a long time ago. But I don't know, yeah, it's scary.
Due to their increasing cognitive abilities, adolescents may also question the legitimacy of rules, which can lead to increased adult-adolescent conflict. Adolescents have a reputation of being disagreeable and moody, and while it is true that conflict does tend to increase during adolescence, most of the disagreements relate to minor issues such as chores, clothing, or curfew. Generally, the frequency of conflict begins to increase in early adolescence and then peaks in middle adolescence. Although conflict can be upsetting, it's important to remember that the reason youth are disagreeing is because their thinking abilities are advancing and developing at the correct pace. When conflict does arise, it's best to avoid lecturing. Instead, try to have a conversation with the adolescent and ask about his or her reasons for disagreeing. Youth tend to respond much better if they feel they have a voice in the discussion. How would you describe your relationship with your parents?
I know right before my freshman year, I thought I was like a cool kid. I was going to high school. I was doing good, and I really didn't have any reason to like talk to my mom. I have an 18-year-old sister that she knows more about me than anyone, and I felt the need to tell her everything, and I had no communication with my parents. And then my freshman year, I had a pretty bad mishap, and it forced my mom and I to start talking, and now with the relationship that I have with her, I've figured out that like I can tell her anything, and that even just I was scared to come home and even tell her about a bad test grade, and now it's really nice to be open, and the communication I think is the biggest thing we can have, because there are so many things in high school to do, like the football games Friday nights, and there's dances and everything, and I think the communication with my parents has really created a trust chain that is very tough to be broken. And if it were to be broken, then I don't know if I could gain that back. And so I think the communication with my parents has been a very, very big role for me.
Yeah, I've been blessed. With very great parents. Just the level of respect I have for them. It's just like kids are like, yeah, I want to sneak up, but I don't want to do that to my parents, because it's just the amount of respect that I have for them, and they respect me and I respect them. It's just, we've talked about it. It's just that trust deal. If I can trust them, then they can trust me, and they'll let me do things. It's just if I trust them and if I talk to them, it opens up a lot more.
And they don't even realize it. We're all probably just like our parents. We don't even know it. Mm-hmm. Even if we don't want to be, it's inevitable. I think it's bound to happen.
Yeah. I think it's kind of one of those things, we don't want to admit it, but all our parents are role models.
Something that we might not say every day, but I think we all love our parents.
Mm-hmm. And we know it.
Developing a sense of identity becomes a central theme in middle adolescence. During this time, youth are constantly trying to answer the question, who am I? As adolescents are trying to answer this question, you may see them trying on different identities. They may experiment with their style of dress or change their hobbies and interests, all in the attempt to find an identity that fits. It's also not uncommon for youth to change friends as they're testing different identities. Additionally, the structure of the friend group changes slightly from early to middle adolescence. In middle adolescence, same-sex peer groups begin to mix and become larger with both same-sex and opposite-sex members. The integration of peer groups allows adolescents to learn how to socialize with members of the opposite sex, and often provides the opportunity for the formation of initial romantic relationships. These early relationships may or may not include sexual activity. However, open discussions about sex should continue between teens and adults in order for youth to make informed and healthy choices. How would you describe your relationship with friends or romantic partners?
My friends would be like the other half of me. I think they reflect me very much.
There's not much in our town. There's the school. That's where we'll be at the school or either at someone's house. There's just not too much to do.
Agreed. We get pretty creative in what we decide we want to do for the weekend.
I guess when you live in rural South Dakota, you can make up your own fun.
You kind of have to. Yeah. I have a boyfriend. I've been dating him for 2 years, which is kind of long, I guess. But
That's a long time.
we're more like best friends, I guess. I don't know.
I think a lot of people think the idea of having a relationship is what everybody wants, but in reality, to be friends with somebody, it's a lot better than to have the relationship or the title. And sometimes if you like somebody enough, you should just not have the title.
I agree. Because I know a lot of even my friendships have been ruined by dating or having a thing or a friend dating or something. So I think I like the friendship a lot better.
And don't know. I guess it works if you make it work, you know. However.
Everybody's different.
Adolescence is an exciting and dynamic stage of development. Understanding the physical, cognitive, social, and emotional changes commonly experienced among youth can assist parents, teachers, service providers, and teens themselves successfully navigate the period of adolescence. For more information about adolescent development and other related topics, go to igrow.org.